All right, guys, thank you so much and welcome to today's workshop. Hopefully you downloaded your and print it out. It's best to print it out. I love when you guys want to actually write things down. So that works best for me. So hopefully you downloaded your workshop and we're going to get started here. I want to talk about our learning checklist here, what we're going to cover in this workshop. So we're going to map out your retreat vision. We're going to determine the right sponsor for your goals. We're going to work towards that. And we're going to discuss how to pitch to those sponsors so that you can vet your future retreats out. So this is really for you if you're a retreat lover, if you're a retreat leader, a travel lover, or a digital entrepreneur, or all three, which Jane and I happen to be. So we will workshop today, so turn on your cameras if you can and your microphone. I know some of you cannot, but if you can, please do, because I love to see your lovely faces and we want to make sure that we are connecting with you. Feel free to type your questions in the chat box at the time. We're going to have separate, there's going to be some times for you for Q&A and some times for you to share what you've come up with when you're doing the workshopping. And I will give you the time to ask those questions. Raise your hand because I won't call on you unless you have I won't embarrass you or call on you unless you have your hand raised, but don't be shy because this isn't the place to do that. Definitely interact. I love that. So this should be fun. It is going to be fun. Dreaming is allowed and encouraged for sure. Taking notes is really, really important because it compels us to organize our thoughts. It improves focus and in decision-making skills, and it helps us to combat procrastination. So it's a fantastic way to make sure you're learning something new. So if you're new to me and to this, my name is Marie Hernandez. If you don't know my name, I've traveled to 55 countries, all on sponsorship, and I've hosted retreats for my participants that my participants rave about in several countries. As you can see, this is kind of my life in a little bit of pictures. Over on the left-hand corner are my three daughters. I am a mom of 6 and a grandmother of 15, which all get to come on retreats and travel with me at one point in their life or not. The reason you don't see the boys is because they're boys. And while boys are fantastic when they're babies, they're a pain to try to get together and take a picture when they're adults married with their own kids. No time for mom. It's okay. So anyway, those are my three daughters. And these are some of the things that I've been sponsored for. So these are some of my retreats. Yes, I got to skydive on sponsorship. That was really cool. I did this over here I wanted to tell you about this picture here. I'm really, really super excited about that. On the right-hand bottom, that is a duchess that lives in Sicily, and she has an exclusive cooking class. And I actually got sponsored there. And the really cool thing about it was her personal home. This place was fabulous, but she was a doll. I absolutely loved her. We still chat back and forth through Messenger, and she's just a wonderful person. So this was really, really, this is kind of like an overflow of what I do and where I am. My expertise is in all things marketing, and I spearheaded and developed this unique way of marketing, especially to vet venues and services that I use for my retreats in exchange for accommodations, excursion tours, food, and more, advertising for my sponsors on social media. And that's what we're going to talk about today. One common tricky part of retreat planning is ensuring that every element from the venue to the activities and even the sponsors, it truly reflects your personal vision and your values for your retreat. It's like, I like to use an analogy. It's like cooking a complicated dish where every ingredient needs to work in harmony so that it comes out tasting exactly like you want it to. So write in the comments some things you find tricky or stressful in planning your retreats. Do you have any specific, and if you're here because you haven't planned your retreat yet, or you haven't given your first retreat yet, no problem whatsoever. But some things that you think you might actually have issues with.
Marie, we're having a little bit of trouble getting Lisa the link for the PDF doc.
Oh, did I not send it to you? Do you not have it? I'm sorry. It's
not working.
Oh, it's not working. Okay. And let me see if I could help you here real quick.
Sorry about that.
No problem whatsoever. Let me see if I can. So when you open it, it just won't open. Is that
Well, I don't actually see the email with the attachment.
Huh. And
I'm
Jane,
sure you sent it.
yeah, we sent, you should have gotten three actually. So,
Yeah.
hmm. Jane,
All
can
I
you
all
pop
I've
it?
got is the link
Yeah.
for the meeting.
Jane, would you be able to
Sorry.
pop it into actually into Facebook Messenger for her? She might be able to open it from there better.
Oh, that might work.
Sometimes that works a little bit better. Yeah. We'll just go ahead and move on and then let Jane know if you were able to do that. So the problem most people face when planning retreats is that they want them to reflect their deepest values and passions, but they often struggle because they haven't aligned every aspect of the retreat, including venues and activities, with those core principles. Instead of using a clear mission statement as a guiding light, many default to options that might seem convenient or conventional without really ensuring these choices enhance the retreat's purpose. This misalignment can lead to a retreat that feels kind of off brand or fails to resonate deeply with your attendees. Using sponsored travel marketing effectively requires a strategic approach where every selected venue, the service, and experience, it directly supports and amplifies your retreat's underlying values. And that creates a more cohesive, meaningful experience for everyone involved. Most retreat leaders dive into planning their retreats with lots of enthusiasm. We get so excited. I know I do. It's one of my favorite parts of hosting retreats. And they're eager to create something amazing and something that stands out from others. But often they try to piece together their events without a solid plan that aligns every part of their vision. It's like, here's another analogy. I love using analogies. It's like trying to bake a cake without a recipe. Sometimes you might get lucky, but often it never turns out the way you want it to. But by using a clear roadmap that matches every detail from the venue to the excursions, this is your from the venue to the excursions with your core values as the retreat leader, that can ensure that the whole event feels unified and true to the goals that you set out in the beginning. This method not only makes the planning smoother, but also guarantees that the retreat resonates more deeply with attendees, and it makes the experience a lot more memorable. So, like many, I've definitely had my share of bumps in the road when planning retreats. Initially, I tried to manage everything on the fly and online. So thinking I thought I could just improvise as I needed to. I'm pretty good at that, like, going with the flow. But what I quickly learned was without a detailed, cohesive plan that was aligned with my vision, things often fell short. Activities didn't always reflect the retreat's purpose, and the venues sometimes clashed with the overall vibe that I was aiming for. It was a real eye-opener about the importance of detailed pre-planning and vetting everything from accommodations, food, drivers, guides, experiences to ensure that my vision truly fit with my retreat's goals. Now I make sure everything lines up with the retreat's core values right from the start and even before the conception of the retreat, which has turned the early failures into valuable lessons for me. Back then, it was hit or miss, and honestly, more misses than hits. Fast forward to now, and it's a whole different ballgame. I've learned the importance of aligning every single detail with a clear mission statement. This is so important. This shift has not only simplified the planning process, but it also has resulted in retreats that are deeply, deeply meaningful and incredibly successful. Now, every choice I make, from the location to the activity, it totally resonates perfectly with what I aim to achieve. And it makes each retreat truly transformative. And it's an experience that everyone is involved in. What I discovered was that the magic of a successful retreat, it lies not just in the beautiful locations or the fun activities, but in how closely everything aligns with the retreat's core mission. This realization hit me hard. It was like a lightning bolt. Once I started methodically aligning every part of the retreat right down to the smallest activity by integrating sponsored travel marketing into my retreat planning, absolutely everything changed. My retreats became more than just getaways. They turned into powerful, life-changing experiences that participants talked about long after they returned home. And there's no greater compliment than that. It's really all about about the alignment, right? When everything clicks, the impact is so phenomenal and much more. Partnering with sponsors who shared our vision and values, we could offer richer, more immersive experiences without sacrificing our bottom line at all. This approach not only enhanced the quality and appeal of our retreats, but also aligned perfectly with our mission, making every aspect of the retreat more meaningful. The benefits were immediately clear. Our retreats became unique and memorable, created deeper connections and more valuable experience for every participant. It was like finding a perfect piece of a puzzle that made the whole picture come into life. Since moving to sponsored travel marketing, I've been able to elevate the entire retreat experience in ways I couldn't have imagined. This approach, it opened up opportunities to access incredible venues and services that were once out of our reach. We couldn't even bring them in because they were just completely not attainable for us. This allowed us to create, sponsored travel marketing allowed us to create luxurious once-in-a-lifetime experiences. And we were able to do it without hiking up the prices. That was really fantastic. It's been like unlocking a secret level in a game where everything is exciting and enriching and you get everything all at once. You don't have to piecemeal it together. So this strategic shift not only boosted our reputation, but also significantly increased the satisfaction of everyone involved, proving that the right sponsorships can truly transform the scope and impact of your retreats. My goal today is to help you with that, to help you understand how sponsored travel marketing can totally transform your retreats. Imagine being able to host your retreats at jaw-dropping locations and provide top-tier services, knowing exactly the experience your participants are going to have even before they arrive. This is really key. This approach isn't just about adding flashy perks. It's really about creating deeper, more meaningful experiences that align perfectly with your vision. So by the end of our time together, I hope to show you that the right strategies and partnerships can elevate your retreats to a whole new level, making them more memorable for everyone. It's all about making smarter choices, right? Not winging it and affecting your bottom line. All right, let's break down how retreat planning has changed for the better. Remember the old way? You'd pick a venue, you'd sort out some basic activities, and that was pretty much it. It worked, it did, but it didn't always spark excitement or deeply resonate with everyone involved, and it certainly didn't separate you from the crowd. It was kind of like we were all kind of giving the same one in different locations, but the leader was different. Now let's talk about a fresh approach, sponsored travel marketing. This isn't just about upgrading your retreats, it's about making every part of them really count. So we align everything so tightly with our vision that attendees can't help but notice the difference, and ours did. Plus, sponsored travel marketing lets us vet every aspect of the retreat way before our participants arrive, and we get to do it for free. And who doesn't love that? Raise your hand if you love that. 100% me. Okay, so let's get started. All right, let's take a quick look at the traditional way of planning retreats, or also known as the old way. Typically, this involved choosing a standard venue that was available and affordable, arranging some generic activities, and hoping that everything aligned well enough that the participants liked it. Often the focus was more on logistics than on creating a meaningful experience. It was kind of like throwing a dinner party without asking your guests about their food preference. You just kind of hoped that everybody was going to like what you were serving. This approach got the job done, but it lacked that special touch that turns a good retreat into an amazing one and helped you to stand out from other retreats being offered. It was all about ticking boxes rather than crafting unforgettable experiences that were tailored to real human desires. Sponsored travel marketing is the new method for planning retreats. This approach, one I love, one I live, is all about vetting every aspect of your retreat during the planning stage and forming partnerships with sponsors, who can help elevate every aspect of the retreat, from the venue to the activities, and all have it tailored to fit your vision. So Think of it like having a fairy godparent for your retreats, right? These sponsors help turn your dreams into reality without the financial strain because it benefits them as well. It's not just about meeting expectations, it's about exceeding them in ways you might not have thought about. Now let's get into the workshop. Okay. Grab that worksheet or a plain piece of paper. I'll walk you through this definitely. If you couldn't download it or if you don't have it, it's okay. Let's just grab some paper and a pencil. And let's take a minute to jot down the core theme and vision for your next retreat. Think about what makes your retreat unique and what kind of experience you want to provide. This could be a wellness retreat focusing on mindfulness to an adventure retreat geared towards thrill seekers. Let's give them 2 minutes on the clock if you don't mind. And you guys write that down. So you're going to jot down the core theme and vision. Right now, we're going to jot down the core theme and vision for your next retreat. And think about the uniqueness of that retreat, what you want your participants to experience, what you want to provide. Okay, how's everybody doing? Good?
27 seconds left.
Okay. This is where we get to dream a little bit. This is the fun part for me. I get all jazzed up when I think of this one.
Time's up. If you didn't,
Okay. All right. Now, based on the retreat's theme, brainstorm a list of potential sponsors who align with your vision. Now, you might not know them right now. You might not have, an idea. You might not immediately come to mind, well, okay, this is a sponsor I want. If it is fantastic, write those down. If not, think of sponsors you might want to work with. What are those values? What do they look like? What kind of products or services do they have that would enhance your retreat that you wrote about before? Let's give an example. I like to use yoga. So a yoga retreat leader might look at an eco-friendly accommodation that offers organic food or vegan food, or a small yoga mat company that not only provides aligned equipment, but also needs marketing to boost their brand. I like working with the small guys because they offer such luxury and such hands-on experiences, but they also don't have the PR dollars that the big people have. So the experiences is fantastic. So I like working with them too.
as a
And again,
reminder, because we've got some people here and we also have plenty of clients that are not here today, where a retreat means one person.
oh, absolutely.
It can be
Absolutely.
just a VIP day. And
Mhm.
also, even if you at this moment can't really conceive of taking other people, you are your own retreat. So
Right.
you always do any of these exercises for just you, for bringing in one client. And then the
Mhm.
last thing to say, because this happens too, is retreat just means an event where it's not in your house. So sometimes people hear retreat and they think a variety of things, and we hear this all the time too.
Right.
Just remember, retreat is just you going somewhere and probably taking at least one other person.
Right.
That-
And that can literally be in your own town. When we say retreat, it does not have to be, you don't have to get on a plane to go there. And again, it could be 1, 2, 10, 20, 30, you. So when you go on sponsorship, it will be you, but you're going to you want to have all these things in mind before you go, because you're going to be vetting that facility before you bring a group or one person there. Okay. Are we good? Do you have an idea? Are we good jotting those down? Do you need more time? Thumbs up if we're all good. Awesome. Awesome. And I'm going to
Ask a
assume,
question real quick.
sure.
Okay, because I'm having trouble figuring out who sponsors might be for it. What I do is caregiver support.
Mhm.
And so what I want to do is a caregiver respite retreat.
Right.
And so massage therapists
Mhm.
come to mind. But
Absolutely.
then beyond that, I'm like,
Where would you,
thinking.
where will you have this retreat? Where is the vision to have this retreat at? Is it going to be at a hotel? Is it going to be at a villa? Is it going to be at a facility? Where would you host this retreat or bring your participants?
The first one will probably be on a cruise
Okay.
because it's contained. And so then if I'm doing that, I don't know if sponsorship comes in as much.
Sure it does.
Well, I guess it does because you're going to be in port.
You're
at
going to
different
be
places.
you're going to be vetting them. You want to make sure that ship, that
Yeah.
cruise is aligned with the vision that you have. If it's all kids, if it's a Carnival cruise for all kids, that wouldn't be aligned. So you're going to want to
Right.
make sure you vet that you see that so
That one I
yes.
have narrowed down already. I know the cruise line and
Right.
everything
Okay.
because of their amenities and smaller ship and mature. But
So that would be that would be on your list. So the cruise,
okay.
you already know that cruise line was one you're going to reach out to. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Also to think of what they're going to eat, what they have to eat. So that's all going to come to play. A cruise tends to supply that, but you still want to make sure you're vetting that to make sure it is in alignment with what you expect. So yeah, great question. Thank you, Becky. So for your potential sponsor, quickly list like 3 benefits these sponsors could provide for your retreat, which again is accommodation. So if the accommodation is, what type of accommodation? Will you need access? Will you need special like wheelchair access? What kind are your participants tend to be older and they can't climb stairs? Like think outside of the box. It's wonderful to think of a beautiful place, but think about the place. So what benefits would these sponsors provide for your retreat? Think food, think excursions. What fun excursions. Jane and I love catamarans. We absolutely love them. We love hot air balloons. We love Vespa rides. We love wine tasting. We love, so think outside the box. Think of something fun as well. Because while many people teach and explain and explore and heal during their retreats, they also want to provide other services that that are memorable to their retreats. You want to think about the rooms, you want to think about personality. This is one thing that people forget during a retreat. I love to vet even the van service that I'm going to use. Like I know every single driver of the van company that I use in Tuscany, so to speak. I know them. I know how fun they are. I know if they're if they're wet mops, and then I know how to choose them because part of our retreats are immersive retreats and we get excited. So I love what they do. We have karaoke inside the van, like all of that. But if that's not suited, then you would choose something else. But you want to make sure the personality, in fact, matches too, because that could derail. I mean, if they're just there to make money, then they're not likely to have the personality that you want aligned with your retreat. So you have to pay attention to that as well. Okay. Do we have those? It's okay if you need more time. No rush whatsoever. And I'm going to assume that the people who are, we can't see your beautiful faces are writing everything down, and it's okay for you too. If you need more time, just say more time in the comments. I want you to also write down what benefits the sponsor would gain from partnering with you. So it's like exposure to your audience or alignment with a positive event. So think of this. Most of the time, what these sponsors are looking for is your engaged audience. So don't panic here, because I know what happens. People are like, I don't have a huge audience. I don't have a huge audience. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Don't worry about that for now. What are the benefits of partnering with you? What can you bring them to the table in terms of marketing? Meaning, can you write for magazines? Can you write on other blogs? Can you promote locally if you're going to have a local retreat? What can you bring to the table? And if you're not sure right now, that's okay. That's okay. Is everyone finished? Do you need more time? Yeah? Okay. Who wants to share their vision and potential sponsors? I'd love to hear from one. Unmute yourself and share with us.
I'll go for it.
Okay, Lisa, yay.
Especially because I'm glad you mentioned vetting the van services, because I have a couple, I think I mentioned in the earlier workshops that I'm looking at national park trips. And so you've got to have someone to drive the people there. I also have a related question. I hope the opportunity comes up today, but
Yes.
the place I'm looking at first is 4 hours from Salt Lake and 5 hours from Vegas. So I'm looking at accommodations beforehand and then vetting a coach to get people there. But so the van service to get in and out of the parks, one of the sponsor places that I'm looking at, it just fell into my lap last evening when I was doing homework. But it's they call it a retreat place, and it's off the beaten track, so you have to also get in and out from it. But they are on 300 acres, and part of it is developed with the facilities, and then the rest of it it's surrounded by wildlands, which would be very important for my particular type of retreat. And Debbie, I'd love to talk with you at some point. I'm a death doula, and so I'm looking at retreats for people at that, during those transition times. So but so nature and all that is really important, having the access to the park, so the van service. One of the things that is not clear, and I'm excited to find out more about how we approach a potential sponsor, because it looks as though they may not have the facilities for a full on, like 3 meals a day kind of thing.
Right.
So if there's a possibility, possibly a private chef or something like that might be another thing to look at for a sponsor.
Perfect. That's perfect. Yes, and you'll want to do that as well. And that happens quite often where so for instance in Tuscany, I have a private villa that we always hire, and they don't have so it's individual apartments, so they don't have like a chef on staff, but we have the ability to bring a chef in. So they come in and cook, but also too, because we absolutely love to try food everywhere, we take them out to different restaurants, but we've also vetted those. We've also been there and eaten too. So yes, having a chef come in maybe for breakfast or maybe for a few meals, but also, so that's part of the planning process. You want to make sure, and yes, that's absolutely one of the sponsors you'll try. So it'll be the driver, you'll want to vet the chef, because you want to make sure, especially if that's another thing in pre-planning, you want to make sure that, and we'll talk about this later, vetting your participants. you want to make sure that you know everything about them too, so that you can provide what they're looking for as well. And that chef, in fact, can cook that. So all of that comes into play and is very important. So yeah, good job, Lisa. Good job. Anyone else want to share? Okay, let me ask you this. What was your biggest takeaway from this section? What was the biggest takeaway? Share that. Who wants to share that? Anybody?
Well, I love the sponsored travel in itself, and
Mhm.
that helps so much to be able to go out and try it first to
Right.
make sure that everything's okay. Because it's a little concerning, especially in my case, because I'm going to be bringing, an RN with me and have people with issues and
Exactly.
potentially big problems. So I want to make sure that everything is covered before I bring them into it.
Exactly, exactly. And that is in every case you want to make sure. And I'm gonna drop in a little story here of my own. So I had a client call me. Well, she wasn't a client at the time, and she was in my world. She had put together a retreat in Morocco and followed the old and the typical way. You go online, you find what you think is right, and you go in and you do that. And it turned into, unfortunately, not just a disaster for her, but also her bottom line. She ended up having to take $10,000 out of her pocket to fix it on site. And what had happened is she thought it was a beautiful facility. She had spoken to the owner. It seemed really aligned. I think there was a little bit of a language barrier. That happens too, because she went to Morocco. So it ended up being that the second day, two women left. They just left because it was so bad. And the accommodation wasn't what she thought it was going to be. It was almost like a bunk room type of situation, and she thought they were individual rooms. So, and then one of the excursions was supposed to be this traditional mud bath that they have. The hike was beautiful up there. They were going to have this beautiful mud experience, and then a massage. And then they were going to go have lunch. They went up, and when the hike was beautiful. When they got up to the mud thing, there were men and women who weren't wearing clothes, and they were helping each other out inside the mud thing, and it wasn't private. So the women wanted to skip it, and they wanted to go, which I understand, because they didn't know. They went to get their massages, and it was literally just like a mat on the floor all together, a mat on a floor that looked like kind of like a cave, from what she explained, and they were all getting massaged together. The women were mortified. So she called me, like I got a message like in the middle of the night. I was sleeping when I woke up. She's literally crying and like, "Do you happen to know somebody in Morocco?" And I said, "Thankfully I do." I was able to send her their way, and they were able, but again, it cost her 10 grand, and she had to, it was awful. Poor thing. I felt really bad for her, but it was a learning experience, and she came back, and then she became a client. So didn't happen again. But that's the kind of thing we want to prevent, right? We want to make sure that every single little detail, everything. So by experiencing it yourself, you could say, nah, and you could say, yeah. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, how to handle that situation as well, excuse me. All right, so let's move on to building partnerships, which is my favorite thing to do. All right, so building partnerships with sponsors, which is really, really like finding a perfect match. It's your retreat's perfect match. Think of it like making new friends who really get you, right? These are friends who share your interests and your values. That's why vetting is so important. When you're looking for sponsors to vet your retreat, you want to choose businesses that resonate with the spirit of your event. Again, we talked about that, right? What exactly your event is, having that kind of roadmap to knowing what that is. It's not just about who can give you freebies or who can give you discounts. It's really about finding partners who enhance the authenticity and the experience of your retreat, making it much more impactful for everyone that's involved. This starts by vetting the people who will work closely with you before, during, and after your retreat. When you're looking for sponsors to vet for your retreat, you want to choose businesses and people that understand, first and foremost, when you're explaining to them, they understand the soul of your retreat, the purpose, the why you're having a retreat, why why you are attracting specific people to the retreat, what they're looking for, what the transformational that's what the transformation is when they leave the event. So it's not just, yes, I'm bringing 12 people. We're going to be doing this. I'm a healer. I'm going to be teaching this. Can you drive me? Can your accommodation house us? That's fine. But what really enriches a retreat and changes it when the people involved, the experiences are really connected in a deep way that way, so that everything really highlights, everything is a true experience. No, even down to the sheets that they're sleeping on, right? You want to make sure you climb in that bed and sleep in it for 2 or 3 days. It's not just like, oh yeah, the bed's really pretty. No, you need to be in it, sleeping in it for 2 or 3 days to find out if in fact it really is comfortable, or if it's hard as a rock. And that's come up with me too. Like, I love Tuscany. Tuscany's my heart home, but they don't really care so much about firm mattresses or comfortable mattresses. So sometimes, if some places that I've vetted are like, yeah, I will be crippled in 3 days. I cannot sleep on this mattress. So, you have to really be careful. And that's important, because that also is part of the experience of your participants. And if they don't have a good night's sleep, guess what happens? They're not going to have a good day the next day. And then there you go. That all happens. So it's those little details that you want to make sure, and vetting the people who have. I even pay attention to, I even talk to staff, the beautiful women who are cleaning the room. I even talk to them, because their attitude, their personality, their energy is a reflection of the place they work. So if they're cranky and mad and overworked, and that's going to have an effect. So really paying attention to everything. So it isn't just about, can you give the best accommodations, food, tours, and transportation? It's about finding partners who enhance the authenticity and experience. And that, of course, makes it just the experience better for absolutely everybody. So let's workshop this. Picture yourself walking through a marketplace. You're looking for the perfect ingredients for a meal. And you want to, so finding a sponsor is sort of like that, right? You want to make sure that every ingredient is perfect. So you want to look for businesses whose products and services and values mesh with the theme of your goals. For example, let's say you're planning an immersive retreat in the lush Costa Rica, focusing on sustainability and personal wellness. Start by identifying businesses that resonate with these themes, like eco-friendly resorts, or local organic farms, or wellness product companies that enhance natural ingredients. Here's one thing that we do on our retreats as well. I'm all about community and helping the local economy. So I like to go and also vet places where I'm going to buy the products, like even the gifts, down to the gifts that I'm going to buy for my attendees. I do that locally because there's something about helping the local economy wherever you are, and letting them know what you're doing and why you're doing it and why you're visiting their store, getting to know the owner. Like I said, I always go for small places, mom and pop places. It means more to them, and it brings value to their life as well. So vetting that as well, like little things, even if you're going to buy soaps, like we like to buy lavender soap in Paris. So you're going to make sure that, wasn't made in China and shipped over to that store, and you're going to not use something authentic. So even little things like that matter. And your participants are going to pay attention to that. So making sure that those are aligned. Now, you want to make sure all the ingredients are local, everything is natural. Make sure that it really is, because this all has something to do with the totality of your retreat at the end. These businesses not only share the spirit of environmental consciousness and health that your retreat promotes, if you're going to be running a retreat like that, but they also stand to benefit greatly from the exposure to an audience that values sustainable living, right? You remember that your participants are going to be talking about their experience. They're going to be posting on social media. They're going to be saying, this is the best thing that ever happened to me. So they're going to be promoting you, but they're also going to be promoting the facility and the food and the accommodation, everything that has to do with the retreat. So write those down. I'd like you to do that. I want you to take a look at those businesses, or think about the businesses that will work with your next retreat, and take a couple of minutes again to write all this down. What does that look like? Here's how I like to approach everything. I use the five senses. What do you want? What does you, and it sounds a little silly, but you know what I mean when you break it down. What do you want your participants to feel, to taste, to smell, to touch when they touch, that kind of feeling, emotional feeling? What do you want them? What's the comfort level? And then think of the sponsor that could bring that to you. You might not have that sponsor in mind, a particular one, the name of it, but definitely think, is it an eco-friendly, conservationist company? Is it a tour guide that really promotes, eco-friendly, or they're the word just slipped my mind. Pay attention to what their belief system is what I'm trying to say. Make sure they believe what you believe, and then it will be a cohesive partnership. So we're listing all of our sponsors, what those sponsors really, everything, what the sponsors that will share your retreat spirit and the aspiration and will benefit from being associated with your retreat. What does that look like? I want you to think of it in terms of the people, not the accommodation, not the food, not the bedding. I want you to focus on the people. What should they, how do you want them to connect with you? What do you want them to know? What do you want them to feel? Like, what is that? What's going to attract you to that? And think of the past places that you've been. Like, think of a place that you've been that you met the owner or you met the chef and he really connected. You were like, you know what? I'm going back there always. Why are you? So I like to ask the question, why am I so loyal to this particular person? And I'll give you an example. In Tuscany, the owner of Fun in Tuscany, I met him in 2019 when I went for 6 weeks to vet my upcoming retreat. And of course, I met him then, and then COVID hit and the retreat went away, but we became fast friends because he was very, very, him and I are connected from an energetic level because he just loves people. He loves connecting with people. He loves truly knowing who they are. He wants to make sure that they walk away with a smile, that they've had an experience like none other. So that mattered to me, and it really matters to him. It just, everybody he hires is like that. His wife is like that. His daughter is like that. So it kind of bleeds through to everything. And he's grown. He was a very small business when I met him in 2019. He had 2 employees. And I talk to him every week. We're friends now. And he's always the person who does everything with me. He's my boots on the ground there in Tuscany when we have our retreats. And so I turn to him to help plan it. And now he has a staff of 18. So that's because of who he is, that energy that he exudes. So think in terms of that. Well, who do you want to work with? What's their personality type? We'll give you a couple minutes for that. Are we good? We're finished? Does anybody need any more time? No? Okay. So let's share, if you want to share, 2 things. Share your sponsorships, what that vision looks like, the actual person that and the people that you want to work with on these sponsorships, the people you'll partner with ultimately. Because remember something, it's never going to be a one-off. these people are going to become part of your world. You're going to integrate them into your business, and you'll find later on that that's going to actually carry over, and you'll find other opportunities to work with them. Their audience will, and people who love them will be now become your audience, and vice versa. So we're looking for the long run. We're looking for not an end game, like, thank you so much, this was fantastic, see ya. But we really want them to, like, for me, they become my family, so that when I go back, anywhere, they know who I am, and they're aligned with me. So let us know who those people look with. Share with us what those people look like. And also too, what was your biggest takeaway so far with this section?
Well, I think it's real important in my situation. I have to have people who understand something about dementia, who are wheelchair accessible, who are friendly to elderly people, welcoming to them, and patient.
Perfect. That's right. They have to really have compassion and a lovely energy and patience and all of that. They have to. So that even comes down to staff. That comes down to the driver. That comes
Yeah.
down to the chef. That's every aspect of it. You want to make sure that in fact they are. And the only way to do that is to vet them, to actually go spend time with them. So perfect. Great job, Debbie. Angela.
So for me, what I wrote down was that, they have to be really caring and have a great sense of level of detail,
Mhm.
and to really listen and want to understand what it's all about, and really be in that connection, and that you get that great sense that they'll treat the participants with respect and integrity. They're kind of friendly energy, and that they really take pride in everything they do.
I love it.
That's really important.
It is very important. That's definitely important. And that's why it's so important to pay attention. It's so important to spend. So when we go on our sponsorships, like when I travel, I tend to stay a month or more, and my sponsorships are several days. Like, you'll never go. A lot of times people will say, okay, I'm going to go do a site tour. But again, you can't get that level of understanding of an individual, the owner, the chef, the person who makes up your room, the person who brings room service, if that's the case. Even if you're offering, we're having a retreat in Bali next September. We need to know the people who are giving the massages, all of that. We have to know that, yes, they can give a good massage. I've had a good massage, but I've also had a good massage by somebody who didn't even speak. Like, that was just like, "Yeah, is that good?" Like, no, I want somebody who cares, and that's so important. And that's what you need to vet. That's why we go and we spend time with them, so that we can tell, that we know what they're really about, and how they really feel about things. Because anybody could be good for one day, but day 3 spending time with you, that's when you're going to see how they really are. It's like, okay, let me see, do they really care? They can't wait for me to get out of here. You're going to really find that out. So okay, let's move on here. So let's get into how to pitch for a sponsorship, which is kind of like making a new friend, but in the business world. So first, you got to know your stuff. You got to know your stuff. So be crystal clear. This is what we've been going over. Be crystal clear about what your retreat is all about and what makes it special. Remember, there are other people giving retreats for the same genre, for the same thing. But why does yours stand out? What is it going to make, what is special about it? And yes, it's always you, because you're always beautiful and wonderful, and your energy draws those people in. But what else makes it special? And then you want to know exactly what you're going to ask your sponsor for. This is important, and I'll tell you why. And I've been doing this for 15 years now. I've been traveling the world on sponsorship for 15 years. And as I said, 55 countries. And the biggest takeaway with when I approach a sponsor is that I immediately tell them the benefit of having me there. And the reason why I get that out of the way, and I want them to know, and it's a deep conversation. And oftentimes, sometimes when I don't generally have to pitch anymore, but I will reach out to a new place, and I try to get in touch with them first in person, because that's who I am. But the reason why you want to do that is because they get hit up all the time. And I've asked that. I was sponsored by a hot air balloon company in Tuscany in 2019, and they were part of Virgin Airlines, the Virgin Airlines company. And I pitched, it was a cold pitch. I sent my pitch letter out. I was real, I wrote it the way that I knew that I wanted to. And they said yes. And when I got there, when I was there in person, because I did do a Zoom call after they said yes. And then we talked a little bit, but when I got there and I met the manager, I said, I have to ask you a question. Why did you pick me? Because I am quite sure a big, gigantic company like yours gets proposals and pitches all the time by people who have millions of followers. And the thing that she said to me is said, you were so relatable and real, and you weren't asking things that were so ridiculous that, and what you offered in terms of marketing was so authentic that why wouldn't I work with you? And that really just felt so good because that's my goal, right? I definitely want to make sure that I'm exuding that and that they know that I care. It's not just me asking for something as an exchange. So definitely take that in mind. So I want you to, so for example, we're seeking a sponsor, like let's say you're speaking to a sponsor for a preliminary visit. This is your pitch. Let's say that you're going to write this pitch. I'm giving you a little example here. So you can say, and you write this down if you want, it's on your worksheet too. We're seeking a sponsorship for preliminary visit to your resort. I'm going to say resort, to ensure that it aligns with my vision and spirit of our upcoming holistic retreat. For this exploratory stay, we would require accommodation for 3 nights. Remember, I would say 3 because you can't really tell. For myself and my assistant. Here's one thing, they expect you to bring somebody. You're a business, so they expect you to have an assistant or a partner, so that this isn't something, a hard ask. In exchange for this, you're going to ask immediately. You're going to say immediately, in exchange for the sponsorship, we will provide extensive social media coverage and feature your resort and our retreat publications, highlighting your amenities and services to our audience of wellness enthusiasts. So this is a way to approach them. Again, I don't want you to be scared about the numbers. Don't be scared if you don't have a million numbers. That's not what it's about. It really isn't about that. What it is the exchange. What's the probability that the people who know, like, and trust you are going to say, hey, Lisa loved that place. It was fantastic. I happen to be going there. I want to go there too. Lisa, can you connect me with the owner? That's what they're looking for. Because remember, these people are also on booking.com and they're on other places too. And for that, it's sort of a hit or miss. Are they offering the cheapest price? People don't really care that much, but we do because we're bringing a group. That's in their mind. Okay, not only do we love them and do they love us, but they potentially can come back with a group. So for them, it's also about money too, right? But they really want that connection. So I want you to really write down and think about what's in it for them. Think about ways that you can promote for them, that you can market for them. Social media is the biggest one, because especially Facebook, because that's where you can really deeply go into cultivating your audience, really getting to know people, really getting to tell your story, showing them videos, showing them lives, things like that. People love the visuals. So it's really important. And sponsors are always on Facebook. And so it's really great. Instagram's fantastic too, but you can't really dive in with stories. And that's what we're all about. That's what's really gonna, in the marketing space, that's what you really want to do. So let's see. Yeah. So I'd like you to write down what's in it for the sponsor. What is in it for the sponsor? Okay, so let's workshop this. Now you don't have to create a whole pitch letter. We're gonna break down some of the pieces here for you. So I want you to jot down a brief description of your retreat, your future retreat, one that you're trying to put together, and what makes it unique, and specifically what you need from the sponsor. So think about that. Just brief. You don't have to go into huge detail here. This is just kind of give you an idea of what's going to be part of a really good pitch letter or proposal that you're going to present to a sponsor, potential sponsor. Remember, this could be products too. Is there specific products that I know that we do gift bags. So we'll approach local businesses wherever our retreat is. We'll go to local businesses and we'll ask them now, do they always give it to us in exchange? A lot of times they do. They'll give us the products. We'll tell them what we need. They'll give us the products, and then we'll allow them to advertise by putting their business card in, giving them that kind of connection. And of course, we're also going to promote them on social media. Another thing that they'll do is give us a hefty discount. So so products as well are very, very important, because you can offer them a lot of exposure to the people, because they know your audience knows, likes, and trusts you. So it's products especially are nice, because people, I mean, who doesn't love products? So okay. So second, I want you to briefly and these are all brief again, reflect on what the sponsor will gain from partnering with you. So this could be enhanced visibility, again, the engaged audience, and an opportunity to be featured in a publication. Think about that. Can you write for either a local magazine, or can you guest write for a travel blog? These are all ways. Can you be featured in a Facebook group? Many of you, I know I met many of you in a retreat Facebook group, and that's where I promote our retreats, but I also talk about the things that I love and people that I recommend as well. So you can say, I am part of 3 Facebook groups that have a reach. Each Facebook group has 100,000 people, and I'm allowed to talk about products that I've used and venues that I've experienced. That's advertising for them. So think of those two. And you can write down 2 significant benefits you can offer. It doesn't have to be a lot. Yes, Debbie. You're muted.
Sorry, there we go.
Okay, you're fine.
Yeah, okay, so since I'm looking at a cruise, I couldn't, I mean, it would probably be, it was a 6-night cruise. I would
Mhm.
really need to go the whole cruise to be able to check out each location and to be able to fix my schedule based off of port days and travel days and
Right,
all that kind of stuff too.
right.
Is that a reasonable thing to request
Again, it depends on remember, there's that exchange. It's not impossible. I've had clients that absolutely do cruises. That's all they do, actually. So, and yes, you can be sponsored. So you'd have to put together a package that was attractive to them. And that's not impossible. Again, you don't have to have 1 billion people. It's just what you're offering. Where is the exposure? I happen to write for I happen to have a connection and write for a magazine that has 10 million subscribers. Boom. Why wouldn't you want to be featured there? It's all about travel. So those are the type of things that you would have to that's what we talk about in our program, how to actually put all those together first before you present to the sponsor so that they know, wow, this is what I'm going to get in exchange. It makes it an easy yes for them. So yes,
Yep.
absolutely. Okay. So now what I want you to do very quickly, don't stress. I want you to, I know riffing means speaking, but riff this off of writing it. Use the information that you just wrote in those two instances and start writing a pitch. So this is what I do. I told you to think about the things that you need, the things that you want on a sponsorship that you're looking for your retreat, and also how you can benefit them, how they're benefited by working with you, the exposure, where you can write, all those things. Flip that now. Start off with who you are. I'm Marie. I'm my business partner, Jane, and I own Wander the Seven. We're a travel company, XYZ. We explain. We let them know about where we are, our numbers, things like that. Don't get scared about that. And then we ask, that we present everything to them, what our exposure is, where we write, what we've been doing, who ours is a little extensive because we let them know where our other retreats were and all those things. And then we do the ask. So let them know the benefits first, and then do the ask. In exchange for all of this coverage, we would like gratis, or we would like to exchange 3 nights accommodations, a meal, whatever it is you're asking for. Now, why we're not going to put the letter together here, because there's a lot more work that goes into it. There's a lot more that you have to think about, because if you're just looking to vet a chef, you don't necessarily have to give him the kitchen sink, right? Accommodations is where you go all out, because they're accommodations. It's a cruise. There's so many more moving pieces, so you have to offer them a little bit more. But if you want to go to a restaurant to experience the meal, then you're going to craft that. Where are they going to be exposed? Where are you going to write? What are you going to do on social media? Are you going to do reels? Are you going to do stories? Are you going to do a post? So this is just the kind of framework for it. We're not going to dive deep into that today. This is the framework for it. So what is the benefit of working with you? Who you are, what your business is, what you do, and what you can offer. And then I want you to write down your ask. What are you asking them for? Is it 2 nights? Is it 3 nights? Is it 6 nights? What are you asking them for? So I'll give you an example. I'm planning a holistic wellness retreat that focuses on sustainable living, and I'd love for your eco-friendly resort to be a part of this journey. We are prepared to offer extensive exposure through our well-followed social media channels and a feature spot in our retreat publications, connecting you with an audience that values and seeks sustainable travel options. What we would require in return are accommodations for a 3-night exploratory stay to ensure our vision aligns. So that's kind of, and then what you're also going to do is you're going to attach like a media kit and things like that so that you give them proof. Remember, everything you do is you tell them what you do and who you are, and then you prove what you do and who you are. So you're going to give them visuals for that. And that's in the form of a media kit.
Marie, what's your recommendation specifically to accommodations for how many nights that will give you the best opportunity of somebody saying yes?
It's 3 nights, especially if you're new. If you're brand new and you're approaching them and you're working it all out, 3 nights is really what you need to vet them out. What generally happens, and this happens a really lot, once you develop this relationship and you build this relationship and you give a little bit more, like, this is what I do. I'll give you an example. So before I go on a sponsorship, once I've confirmed that I'm going to go on a sponsorship, I'll start promoting them already. Looking forward to and I tag them. That's already promotion, because people are excited. Oh, I want to watch where Marie's going. I want to see what Jane and Marie's up to now. So they're gonna look. So already, well, you know what? I might be going there next summer, so I'm gonna pay attention. There's the connection already. So what we develop is a before, during, and after. It's 3 nights. I wouldn't do anything less than 3 nights, because you really need to experience everything. Like I said, you're excited the first day, the bed is all comfortable, you're jazzed up, everything's fine. And then by the second night, you're like, maybe not. By the third night, you're like, either no or yes. Like you already know because of the relationships that you're developing along the way. So that's that sweet spot, is the 3 nights with them. So I want to talk a little bit while you're writing that down about the exposure. That's one of the questions that we get asked all the time. Oh my gosh, I don't have a big following. You know, I don't have 5,000 people that follow me regularly. It isn't, that's not what they're looking for, the sponsors. They're really looking for the probability that the people that do love you, that know you and like you, are going to take your recommendations. And I'll give you an example. When I started out 15 years ago, this was before social media did anything more than, you know, I had dinner tonight. Like that was one of those things. It was very new. It was very new. You couldn't do reels. None of that existed. So I had about 1,000 followers on all my social media, and that wasn't much. That was Facebook, and I think Twitter was there. And I wasn't on LinkedIn. I don't know if LinkedIn, maybe it was around, I wasn't on it. So it had to be between those two. But I also wrote for a couple of local magazines too. I lived in Singapore at the time. So I reached out and drummed up a conversation with the owner of Over the Water Villa in Indonesia. It was an island, a private island in Indonesia. And the thing with me is I'm a dog with a bone. I was told that there's no way they're going to give that to you. They're super luxe. They're not going to do it. I'm like, okay. Okay. You know, like, all right, fine. So I developed a relationship with them. I actually called them and I told them who I was and who I wrote with, that I worked for not for, but with the Indonesian Tourism Board on some other sponsorships. And I'd love the opportunity to send a proposal over. And he was great. He was like, absolutely, please do. Oh, I'm sorry about that. So I did. And again, I wrote what would benefit them. And at the time, like I said, I had less than 1,000 people on all my social media. They said yes. I spent 4 nights there in a private over the water bungalow, all meals included, all excursions included. I wrote a beautiful article and I wrote one for the local tourism board. And I did mention them on Facebook with some pictures, but that's all I could do at the time. We still talk. Now they're massive. They were about 2 years old. They were so relatively new, I guess, in the resort, arena. And we're still talking. They come to the US and we're still trying to get together. And when we go to Bali, I may stop by. That's the key. It's the relationship first, and then what you can offer. And that's the value. It's not the numbers. They'd much rather have, an audience of 500 who love you look at their things than just a passerby on booking.com. It's for value, because they have to pay to be on booking.com. They don't with you. It's an exchange. So that's the value in it. Okay, who has started a framework of a pitch letter, and who wants to share? Remember, you have to be clear about your needs and generous in the details you're benefiting them. And that makes a well-balanced pitch letter. You always tailor your pitch to be to the specific sponsor. You want to call them by name if you can. So you want to do a little research ahead of time, and you want to show that you've done your homework. Go look at their Facebook to see who they are. Go look at their website to see who they are. It's not one of those, well, I'm going to throw a target at the wall, and whoever I pick is where I'm going to go. That doesn't align with your retreat. So that you wouldn't do that. Keep your tone friendly always, and content focused. You don't want technical jargon or just kind of like going off on a tangent. You want to make sure that your pitch is focused. And I love to do this, and Jane's way better at it than me, like by far. But practice your pitch out loud to ensure that it sounds natural and confident, even in writing. Because if it does, then it's going to come through. So yeah, definitely do that. So who wants to share a little piece? And also give your biggest takeaway. Come on, don't be shy. This is fun. Fortune favors the bold. All right. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's perfectly okay, but it is fun to do. So no one? All right. All right. I want
First sentence.
Yes. What's that?
How about just the first sentence?
Yeah. How about just the first sentence?
Or just a sentence? Because
Yeah.
it's a lot right
Yeah.
now. So I might have been thinking it through, but just one sentence.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I feel like I'm over
Yay.
talking. I was trying to give somebody else a chance to talk, so.
No, you're fine. Love it.
Okay, I kind of jotted notes at the beginning and the middle and the end, so it's like, I don't know which one sentence I would pull out.
It's okay.
But I was thinking in terms of, like I said, in my situation, I've got to request the whole cruise. And so I would go into a little bit more detail about, like whatever requires one complimentary cruise in order to plan meals, schedules, and excursions based off import and cruising days. In exchange, I'll promote your cruise line, its restaurants, amenities, entertainment, and staff before the cruise, during it, and then after as well.
Beautiful. That's a fantastic start. Absolutely. You're letting them know what you can do, and then you're letting them know what you're looking to experience as well. Yeah, definitely. Very good. Very good. It's a very good start.
You're
And let
generous.
me
I've
ask
got a
you.
long way to go, but
Yeah, no, that's okay. Though you know what? Nothing is accomplished without a start, right? We have to start somewhere. So yeah. And what was your biggest takeaway? Can I ask? Anybody can answer this. What's your biggest takeaway from this?
well, I think it's smart to start with who you are because they don't know you from Adam,
Exactly.
and start about how you can help them because that's what everyone's listening for, is what's in it for me. So if you
Exactly.
start with that, then they can actually listen to what it is you're asking.
Exactly. That's exactly the point. So you want to start off like who you are. So think of it like a relationship. You meet for a date. You introduce yourself, you shake your hands, you sit down, you kind of gauge the energy, right? You're gauging the energy between the two of you. That's why I love the written pitch, but it comes after connecting with them. It comes after connecting with them, whether it's through a chat or whether it's through a Zoom or whether it's through a phone call, because energy is felt, right? I feel energy all the time through Zoom. I can feel energy through, and we're humans, us humans can do that. So that's the biggest thing is, this is what I want to do for you, because I realize already, and you don't have to say this, but you realize that you're asking for them to do something for you. So that's the exchange. So introducing yourself, then going into what you do and who you are, and then right away, what value you can bring to them, and then what you're asking in exchange. So very good. Anybody else?
I actually have a question.
Sure.
So it sounds like you just said make some kind of a connection first before you pitch, obviously. I mean, how, like, for instance, this place that I found yesterday, would that mean something like reaching out and saying, I'm wondering a little bit more about your accommodations, or
Absolutely. So
that kind of thing, and then
Mhm.
coming back and being like, this is what, okay.
Yes. So we won't go into the deeper parts here, but yes, essentially what you're going to do is what I do, especially if it's out of the country, or if it's on the other side of the US, or it's somewhere that I can't pick up the phone or drive to. The phone is it depends on how big they are, what time of day, what season, all of that matters. All of that matters when you're proposing things as well. But let's say it's somewhere that I can't just pick up the phone. What I tend to do is reach out to them either through social media or through email first. But usually social media, it's more direct. Sometimes they have people who will answer right away, sometimes not. But if they're a business, they're gonna pay attention. That's really a piece of their marketing. So they're gonna pay attention. And you just say, I'm a retreat leader. I'm looking to find the best, let's say it's an accommodation. I'm looking for the best venue for a potential retreat that I'm putting together for next year. You want to make sure it's in months in advance, so that it gives you time also. Could you tell me more about your business? There's the opening line right there. Absolutely opening line right there. And then you'll go into a conversation, you'll go back and forth. You don't ask right away. And again, in our program, we actually give you cues and a script, not a script, but kind of like guide you through that conversation, because you don't want to just like, hey, I want a freebie. Like, you just don't do that. There's a way to kind of get in there and connect and really, really dive into who they are and what they do. Like I immediately, like with Esam, I knew that he was married and he had just had a baby. And like we knew that before I even said anything about going out to Italy, I just wanted him to know that I cared, that in some way that I wanted that connection. So remember, us too, as business owners, how many times do we get somebody's, hey, are you XYZ? I'm XYZ from XYZ and I'm offering this 15,000 billion dollar program. Would you like to join? Like, you can't do that. Like the connection is everything. And that's also spills over to the retreat. So yeah, there's definitely a process to it. And that's my first thing, is to look and see how active they are on social media and then reach out that way. And I'll tell you, I have gotten more sponsorships through social media than anything else. I was sponsored in Rwanda for a gorilla trekking experience through LinkedIn. So that's how I met them. And they reached out to me. They happened to reach out to me, but then I was just really communicating and connecting with them in a way that really, it was seamless and easy. So yeah, I got to spend 2 weeks in Africa, South Africa and Rwanda on full sponsorship. So, and that started through, like I said, through LinkedIn. So you never know. And we talk about that in our program. So, okay. If no one else wants to share, does anybody else want to share? If not, we will move on. Okay. So let's go over what we covered here. So I introduced you to sponsored travel marketing, and that's a transformative approach that helps you vet and elevate retreat planning by seamlessly integrating every aspect from the accommodations and activities. And that is with your retreat's core values and vision, even before you bring your participants out. We explored how this method contrasts sharply with traditional planning techniques, the then and now, that often rely on generic venue and bookings and activity schedules. By focusing on strategic partnerships, that resonates with the retreat spirit. This is the new method, right? It not only enriches the participants' experience, but also ensures that your retreats are impactful, which that's what we're all looking for. It also ensures that they're transformative, and it saves you from embarrassing and expensive mistakes. Remember that Morocco story. I still feel so bad for her. So we dove into building meaningful partnerships with sponsors, and that's identifying potential allies whose services and products are aligned with your retreat's theme. We also honed our skills in crafting effective sponsorship pitches. Remember the process. We went introducing yourself, then you want to tell them what the benefits are of working with you, then you're going to ask after and for your ask what you're looking for. And this emphasizes the importance of clear communication and personal connection, just like nurturing a new friendship. And that's exactly how you have to approach this. You want to make sure that you're approaching this as a new friendship, because honestly, you do want them in your back pocket. The beauty of that also is that they start to tell other people about you. They start to tell other people about you. And that's nice too, because then you'll start getting people asking you to come and they want to sponsor you. So what we didn't cover though, and I'll tell you what we didn't cover because we covered a lot. While we covered a lot of this fundamental aspects of social media marketing today, there's so much more to explore. We just couldn't squeeze it all in, but here's some of those. We didn't cover advanced negotiation techniques. These are fine-tune your skills to ensure you're not just getting sponsorships, but doing so on your terms, and that greatly benefit your retreats. This is also a way to, so here's the beautiful part of it. You're asking for an exchange in the beginning. Once they get to know you, later you can start, when you develop the retreat and put it together and you're getting ready to bring people in, you can negotiate their pricing too. Why? Because you've developed the relationship and you've been there already. So now that was an exchange. You gave them something, and I over deliver everything. So, we go into detail about that in the program, but I over deliver everything. If I say, oh yeah, I'm going to post a couple of reels and stories and a couple of posts, I go live. I do one every day. I actually like to do that because that solidifies the relationship as well. But you also, because of that, because they see that you over deliver, they're more apt to negotiate the actual pricing when you come back for your group. And I love this, and it always works out that way. Marketing to fill your retreats. We didn't really dive into that, but this is so important, right? We have these beautiful retreats and these ideas, but you need the tools to attract the right participants that truly appreciates what you offer and provide. And we also help you provide messaging that conveys, or we didn't talk about that today, but that's an important part, providing messaging that conveys the transformation your retreat will provide. That's crucial in filling your retreats, and often what retreat leaders kind of struggle with. So it's knowing how to message in a way that the people are going to say, yep, they're standing out from the other people offering a retreat. We didn't cover long-term relationships, knowing how to build a real relationship with a sponsor. So they not only want you to come back year after year, which happens all the time. And I told you about Tuscany. That's my signature. Fall in Love with Tuscany is my signature retreat. That happens every single year. And I work with all the same sponsors because they're amazing and they're so aligned with the theme and the energy of my retreat. But they also sing your praises to potential businesses who want to work with you. That happens all the time. That sort of is like one of those natural occurrences after you develop those relationships. We also didn't talk about pricing your retreat effectively to maximize your profitability while keeping it accessible to potential participants. We also didn't cover partnering for enhanced sponsor value. That will open up new doors by showing you how to collaborate across all networks to amplify your retreat's value. And finally, we didn't cover advanced creation of your pitch to get a yes, and that's that deep dive into every single element of your retreat. How we feeling? It's a lot, I know. It's a lot, but it's fun. I hope you're having fun. I hope it was fun, like thinking about it and dreaming about it and expanding it. So yeah, it's just such a brilliant way. Here's another thing I want to let you know too. Let's say that you're done with the retreat, or you're not putting up a retreat next year. There's no reason why you shouldn't still go on sponsorship. Go on sponsorship for yourself. You can still bring that value because you might have a retreat, or you do have an audience that you can market for them. So there's really no reason to say, well, I'm not really having a retreat, so I don't see why I would go on sponsorship, or I don't know why a sponsor would say yes to me. For all the reasons we talked about today, that's why they're going to say yes to you. So with that said, do you mind? I want you to stick with me here. I want you to stick with me here because you definitely want to see this. I want to share with you how we integrate sponsored travel marketing without being an influencer. That's what's really, really important, into yours and our retreat business. So I want to just tell you a little bit about our program, Sponsored Travel Marketing for Retreat Leaders. It's a great way to make your retreats more profitable, luxurious, fun, and memorable. And remember, it's using that specific sponsored travel marketing method. And you don't have to be an influencer, because that's one of the big questions that we get and one of the big worries that people have. So here's how it works. Let me give you an overview of about 4 of the main points that we cover in the program. So step 1 is introduction to the sponsored travel marketing. So this is critical because we understanding what sponsored travel marketing is at its core, and how to successfully integrate it into your overall business model will help you leverage your business for more travel and travel opportunities for more business. It's a fantastic way to do this. Number 2 is sponsorship strategies. This is part of it as well. And this is crucial because securing your dream destinations for your retreats, your retreat clients, and all expenses paid sponsored pre and or post retreat, it helps you go early, stay longer, and it amplifies your experience by allowing you to vet every aspect of your upcoming retreat. And it allows you to relax afterward without affecting your profit margin. So number 3 is finding the potential sponsor. This is critical because you need the right sponsors in your most desired destinations so you can provide exactly what you need to make your retreat spectacular. Not every sponsor is worth considering. And understanding which sponsor would be your best retreat partners so everyone wins, and knowing how to still provide value to your sponsor if you choose not to bring a group back is essential as well. This has happened. We've gone on sponsorship plenty of times. While they're lovely and nice and kind, we just realized that it was not a good fit. But why, what did it work? Because we still delivered and promised the return on their investment, which was the marketing. We still delivered that. We still presented that. That didn't go away. That never was going to go away. So they still got every bit of value that we promised them, even though we're not going to go back with a group later on. Another thing that's included, step 4, is marketing to fill your retreats. This is huge. This is very critical because getting the word out effectively is what turns a great retreat idea into a fully booked event. And who does not want that? It's not just about having fantastic content and a beautiful location. It's really about ensuring potential attendees know why they can't miss this opportunity. So it's all about marketing. It's all about that marketing and sales. You want to make sure that you have that solidified and why you stand out and why they want to go with you. So all of this and more is inside our program. And I'll just give you a little overview. So so we do this standalone as well. So we have standalone where we introduce sponsored travel marketing, and we charge from $497 for that. We do all of this standalone, and that value is $29.98 or $88. And then, yep, excuse me, click that twice. But here's the thing. I love to over deliver, as I told you. So I'd like to talk about something else. So we're going to add some bonuses here, and I want you to check that out. So marketing your retreats. This is the marketing retreats strategy for success. It's a workshop. It's an additional workshop, and it's where you'll dive deep into the essential techniques and innovative strategies that we use to successfully market your retreats. The bonus workshop is designed to help you understand how to effectively reach and engage your ideal audience, making sure your retreat not only fills, but does so with attendees who are as passionate about the experience as you are. You'll learn how to craft compelling marketing messages that resonate with potential participants, choose the right market channels that align with your audience, and use digital tools to amplify your reach. So whether you're new to retreat planning or looking to refine your existing marketing efforts, this workshop is really a fantastic bonus in the program. And that standalone is $997. We usually charge for that. But I wanted to also give you my favorite thing. So the favorite thing to do is a done-for-you pitch. I love writing pitch letters. I love them. I absolutely love them. So this bonus here is a done for you. So the service it's tailored to make its solution designed to take the stress out of approaching it. So my perfected pitch is perfect for retreat leaders who want to secure the sponsorship, but might not have the time or expertise in crafting it, especially the first one. So together on a private call, we customize a persuasive pitch letter that aligns perfectly with your retreat and the visions and the sponsorships of your choice. We take the time to understand your specific needs and the unique aspects of your retreat and create a pitch that highlights the mutual benefits for both you and your sponsor. And like I said, it is one of the things that I absolutely love doing, and I do it really, really well, obviously. But it does increase your chances of getting a yes. So I love to offer that as well. And it saves time, reduces stress, and it enhances your professional image as well. So I usually charge $12.50 for that. That's something that I do standalone as well. But we have one more bonus because I love giving bonuses. Jane and I are bonus givers. So we have a fast action bonus for super implementers. So you'll get all of that there. And we're going to show you exactly all of that together and how to get your first sponsorship and many, many more. And so people ask, okay, how much is the investment for all of that, Marie? It is today $800, but I want to also give you something fun. This fast action bonus for super implementers is perfect for those who want to jump in right away. Here's the deal. Not only will we give you back the $97 that you joined for attending this workshop as a thank you for being so decisive, but if you sign up within the next hour for this 6-week program, we'll double down and take off an additional $103. That's a total of $200 in savings just for acting fast. So this bonus is our way of rewarding your commitment and enthusiasm, and because we just love giving bonuses. So there's the total amount value of everything that's standalone that's in the program. And then the price for that is today is the $800. So it's $997 and then you get the $200 off. So the 800 is with all the 3 bonuses, but if you aren't sure and you really don't care about the pitch letter and you really don't want it, that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with that. So it is 900 with bonuses 1 and 2. Those are included. There are 15 spots available. And remember that bonus 3, that expires in an hour. So, and Jane, you want to weigh in here for, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, how did everybody find today and the information that we gave you over the last couple hours? Good. Throw us an emoji or something in the chat. We want to keep hearing the sound of our own voices. It gets a little
Yeah, right.
awesome overview. Perfect. It's a lot, but good. Yeah, it definitely it is a lot of information. So if you know us even a little bit, and certainly if you know us well, we really like to make sure that our clients are prepared for everything it is that they need in their business so they can create the travel business lifestyle that they're looking to do. So we provide a lot of information, but the thing that we know that's really, really important about the information is it needs to be implemented. So you can take what you learned today and go start putting some things together, being brave and creating your own pitch letter, putting it out there. But if you're anything like we are, because we actually just hired 2 new mentors that we're really excited about. So if you're anything like we are, we know we need the accountability, we know we need the support, and we also know that we need a lot of the nuancing that comes with implementation. So if that's you and you really want to take this to the next step and you don't want the stress of trying to guess or the confusion of what next or what now, then this is a perfect program for you to walk into. And again, just to be clear on the investment, it's normally the $997. We've had people purchase it for that, and in 1 hour it's going right back up to that. But when Marie and I were talking earlier, we said, we call it juicing, right? We're like, let's juice it so it's just really good and they're really, really excited. What would just make it an easy yes for everybody? Because it makes us so happy when our clients say yes, because we know what happens on the other side with the results. So we said, we'll give them the credit back for what they paid for this $97. And then we went, wait, I'm gonna sound like the OxyClean guy now, right? Like crazy, we're gonna double it. Anyway, we're really excited to be able to do that for you. So if this is something that you know that you want, take a step back, go get your water refilled, and go ahead and enroll for $800. Now, if you have any questions, because I'll tell you something else you'll learn about us really quickly. We do not want to take clients who are uncertain if this is going to be a next best step for them. We are very vigilant on behalf of our clients of making sure that your investment dollars are actually put into the places that you most need right now. So we do not want you investing in something that, frankly, maybe $800 would be better off somewhere else in your business. This is one of my specialties. I can get in very quickly into your business and say, okay, Lisa, right now, perfect fit for you. Or Lisa, you're going to need a couple other things in place before you invest in this. And here's what I would recommend. So if you have any questions whatsoever, I put the link in. I thought I did. Let me try it again. I'm going to put the link in here. Nope, I don't think that went in here. I put it, here we go. I think this is it.
You got it.
A team doing this, you can tell nobody's hiring me for tech prowess. That link, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, and I will tell you straight up, great thing for you right now, not so much. Let's revisit this the next amount of time.
Also, too, if you are ready, Jane, if you want to drop the link to that for them to sign up now, just click the link, and we just posted in the chat. Either for a phone call or to grab your spot and complete the registration. You'll get all the information right away. Our team will send that out to you so that you can start and up level the profit, luxury, and fun, and ensure memorable experience for your next retreat. Let's go through some questions I know you have, and then we're going to have a Q&A at the end. But our most frequently asked questions that you might have is, when does the program start? So it starts on Tuesday, the 6th of August. It's every Tuesday from noon to 1:30. And then what if I can't attend live? That happens a lot because we have clients from all over the world. So we always, everything we do is live because live is better, as we know. But we also understand that, you know, if you're if it's midnight for you or it's nighttime, 1 o'clock in the morning, 12 hours later, you can't attend, you'll have forever access to the replay. So if you want to watch it again, you can, or if you want to watch it at your convenience, because you can't make it, it's there for you. And then what if you have questions? We will have, after registration, you'll be invited into a private Facebook group where you can ask all the questions you want. You'll get all the support you want. And then we're there to celebrate your future sponsorships because you're going to get them. You definitely will get them. This is just a fantastic way, even just to travel. Even if you don't need to vet a retreat right now, it is, let me tell you, 55 countries here on sponsorship. So it's fantastic. And then what if I need support after the 6-week program? I'm somebody that has, like, you know, separation anxiety. I don't like to say goodbye to anybody. So no, we're actually there for 30 additional days. So you'll be in that Facebook group and have access to us and support for us, because what ends up happening ultimately is like, yes, this is working. I got my sponsorship. What do I do? Like, you know, you get scared. You're not sure, like, I'm going to show up and am I going to mess this up? I need support. We're there for you. Absolutely. Or, you know what, Marie, this didn't work. Is there something else I could try? What am I not doing? What am I doing? And we dive in and help you with that as well. So you'll have, like I said, an additional 30 days of additional support for you there. So now it's Q&A time. What additional questions? What other questions do you guys have? Any questions good? Shout them out.
Maybe while people are thinking of questions, I'm totally going to put her on the spot here. So,
Yeah.
So Kathleen, if you are here live and you can hear me, what I would love for you to do is come on and let people. Kathleen is in our flagship 6-month experience. So Kathleen, if you wouldn't mind just popping on for a second and share with them specifically how working with us has gotten you through over the bumps and kind of through some of those rough spots. And then also very precisely around those questions that do come up, which sound like this: I've done what I was supposed to do and it went really well. What next? Or I did what I was supposed to do and it didn't go so well. What now?
Yes, you've gotten both messages in Messenger, voicemail and type. God, this is really great. I love it. And oh my God, I'm losing my mind. Talk me off the ledge. So that speaks to the support alone. I have been extreme. I've had coaches before, and coaches are great. They all have the expertise, but I've never had the support, the level of support that Jane and Marie give. So that is a given. You never have to feel that you're alone. Whether you're joyous or losing your mind, both of them are there to support, which is a beautiful thing. Learning, the knowledge, the expertise that's been given. Thank goodness for their patience, which they have an abundance of that as well. But the knowledge that they have, the techniques and tactics and strategies and everything they've given is more than I've learned overall from anybody. I mean, it's just been incredible. So the expertise is there, but it's filled in the blanks, because if you've ever, you're working on something, you're putting things together and it just doesn't feel like it's all there. It's not working because there's pieces missing. They're missing things. And that's what they've done, is really filled in those missing pieces, because let's face it, sometimes we don't even know what to ask. We don't know that's not our expertise. And it's so much of this was certainly not my expertise. Mm-hmm. So the support, the compassion, the understanding, the knowledge, the guidance has been tremendous. And I have learned an incredible amount. Incredible. I can't not speak. And when she says Marie gets a separation anxiety, whenever we're off a week, it's like, we really have to be off 2 weeks? Because it's become there's just so much to it. It's like family now, and you're really bringing, you can be yourself, and I call them both friends. They're not just mentors, but they're friends. But the knowledge, I have to say, the knowledge is top notch. The knowledge is A1, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Thank you. I'm an
Like,
ugly
oh,
cry.
I know. I'm like, no, I'm a crier. The tears
Thank you, Kathy. Well, you're a joy to work with as well. You're
you.
you really are. You're a joy to work with. You're coachable and loving and kind and
I've often said, I've said, you're the first two that I've listened to because I'm not one to be told what to do. But I do. I've
Well,
listened.
thank you. So that was beautiful.
we'll get a little bossy if we see that you're starting to get stuck in your stories and
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. With
All the-
love. We lead with
With love.
love, but we can also do a little bit of hey. So yeah, we love you. Thank you so much. That was
You're
sweet.
welcome.
Does anybody have any questions at all about what we spoke about today, what I taught, about any of the workshop pieces, about the program, anything at all? Just raise your hand, ask the questions. We're happy to answer them.
I actually have a question that I know we get asked a lot, and so and sometimes I go through this because Maria is the absolute queen on sponsored travel, and it's her whole area of expertise. I know plenty, but it's definitely in her jurisdiction. So here's one of the questions that I frequently have for myself, and I know we get it from a lot of people: is what do you do when you when you send a pitch letter and they go, oh, thank you, but no?
Oh, that's an excellent question. So my very first reaction is to say, thank you so much for your response. I appreciate it. I would love to use this as a learning experience. Can you tell me why? Was it my offer? Was it not valuable enough? Was the ROI not there? So I ask them why. This is how I learned what exactly they're looking for. Oftentimes it could simply be because it's high season for them when you're asking. Like they're booked solid. So because part of that pitch, you have to break down when you're going to go, what days you're going, you're asking them. And if it's not a right fit for them, then they're busy. They're not going to come back and say, well, when's the next time you'll be around? Or when can you come? They generally won't do that. So if you ask, it's very rare. It's very rare that they won't tell you. It's very rare that they won't tell you. I mean, sometimes you'll get somebody who doesn't respond, and that's them. That's okay. You can't really take anything personally. It's just they're busy or they're just like, no, thank you, and that's it. But if you ask in a kind way, and again, part of the program too, I give that kind of, I help you respond to that. I give you that kind of framework on how to ask, because that teaches you as well. Like, okay, they'll tell you, well, you know what it was. So then if let's say they say, well, we're booked that whole month, we're booked. It's our busy season. You can reply with, I would be very happy to visit you on your off season. Like you can ask that, is there a shoulder season that I can come and so then they think, oh, okay. It's not really taking the accommodation especially is there anyway. You very rarely get a no from a restaurant and like things like that because unless it's a very popular restaurant and you're asking, like I was sponsored by that. I don't know if the name is going to elude me now. It was so many years ago, but it's in Puglia in Italy by the boot. And it's the one that overlooks, they sit on the side of the cliff and it overlooks, it's that famous like restaurant that overlooks the water. So I was sponsored by them. I had to wait 2 years. I had to wait 2 years to get in. So they said, yes, but can you wait 2 years? Are you going to be here to they were almost ready for me to say, well, no, I can't. I said, yes. I'm like, I'll figure out how to get there because I want to go. So that's the thing, is there's always a way to learn and there's always a response that you can work it out. So yeah.
Sponsored travel is very much like building a business in that when you build and develop relationships and you deliver on what you're saying that you can deliver, just like you would continue to have a business that gets more and more clients as they realize they can rely on you, they're getting results, they get to know, like, and trust you. Sponsored travel and the securitization of those sponsorships is very much the same, right? So can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's very much the same. So hold on one second. Okay. So yes, it's very much like, because here's the thing, and this is what's happened with me as well. My business has grown through the sponsorships because you're also opening up a new audience, their audience, the people who follow them. So remember, when you promote for them, you're actually tagging them on social media. So their audience sees it too. Anybody who follows them, anybody who loves them, anybody who's loyal to them actually sees that. And if they're interested, if they want to see what's going on and they're interested because you've tagged them, that's another audience that opens up for your business. So it's very, very, in that way, you're cross promoting in that way as well. And here's another, in terms of like negotiation, in terms of growing your business with exposure. So people follow us because we love to travel. Jane and I travel around the world. We're often, we're often and spend a few months there. We're slow travelers. I love to go and spend at least a month. People who follow us for that, their natural question is, well, how do they get to do that? So that opens up another audience that are curious about how we're traveling on sponsorship, how we're traveling at all, how we're running our business, how can we do this? So that opens up that kind of audience. And I have actually gotten plenty of clients just that way for our business, just that way, like through the sponsored travel, because they're first interested in where we're going. Everybody wants to see a great place that you're going, or they're interested in the retreats. The retreats are big this way. So as a retreat leader, what happens is when you start connecting with the sponsors and you start getting out there and you're attracting participants for your retreat, two things happen. You get more participants because your retreat are just out of this world and they're posting while they're during that retreat. And so now you're going to get another audience for retreat participants, which is going to help the sponsor because now there's even more people who are going to get to experience them. And then you're going to, if you like us, we have other programs. So we have a business, we have our services offer other programs that opens up another audience for that, for the other legs of our business. So sponsored travel is just one piece. We have another piece. So it opens up for that because people want to know how we get to do what we do. So it's just such a benefit all the way around.
Well, and that's really one of our core objectives for us personally and for you all and for all of our clients is leveraging your business for more travel opportunities and then leveraging your travel for more business opportunities.
Yeah.
So that's even before Marie and I knew each other, we were already living that lifestyle. We have ongoing aspirations to increase that lifestyle because there's such magic in, and this is actually one of our lines that we use all the time, our phrases, there's such magic in being able to combine everything you love to do with every place that you want to go. And so then it just becomes everything that you're passionate about, which you all travel for hobbies and just for fun. We do too. It just becomes this delicious way of living where you pop out of bed because it's like, what exciting thing can happen to me today? I have really cool clients. I love my business. I get to go amazing places. So it really is.
It does. It ties in, and the marketing that you do for your sponsors and to get sponsors, it's just tweaked a little bit, but it does spill over into your regular business. So once you learn that piece and you go on these sponsorships and the retreats are being filled faster because you're learning how to do that with the marketing, it does spill over into your regular business. Then you utilize those tools with a little bit of tweak here and there to be able to build your business as well. So it does cross over beautifully. It's really integrating this strategy into your overall business, and that it allows you to have better and more richer retreats. And it also allows you to fill your retreats quicker and faster and here's a big thing, with the right people, because that's also, you can have a person that joins your retreat if you don't vet them as well, and they'll derail the whole thing. Just like you can have a client that hires you and you're coaching and they're just like, you don't want to wake up in the morning because you don't want to deal with them. So it's a beautiful way to do that. And once you learn those skills, you can actually cross over into your own business as well. So yeah.
I also want to bring up again and reemphasize, because this actually happened to me personally last weekend, or it was Monday actually when I posted, is that you don't have to go in, I would like 3 nights and 7 meals. You don't have to go in, because that can be a little scary. Now we'll show you how to make it not scary, but we understand that can be a bit daunting. So you can take baby steps. And so this was something I recently did. There's a like a microbrewery very near to where I live, which is right on a river, which is a river that's very, very popular for kayaking, which is something I absolutely love to do. And I actually went there with my dad on Saturday night. Yes, my glamorous life. But I went there with my dad on Saturday, and we sat outside on the rooftop, and we were, I was showing him the river and the this and that, and I took a couple pictures. Well, this Monday, I got onto Facebook and I said, weekends are for hanging out at the brewery and planning my next kayak adventure. And, or you can do that during the week if you're self-employed. So I also said that, but I posted that picture and then I tagged the Little Miami Brewing Company. So the next thing you know, Little Miami Brewing Company is giving me a heart and a thumbs up and all this kind of stuff. Now, they don't know me, and I've only been there a few times, but you can better believe I was super excited because now I can go back. And this is where the starting small kind of comes in. I just did that because I genuinely think that's a great place. And if you're local, people should go. And it's a family owned business, which we always love to support. So that was the first reason. The second reason is it is a strategy. Obviously, with our business, I did something, and we're a big fan of mini adventures count. You don't have to go international to have travel be considered as something you're doing that weekend. And now I'm also able to go back in, and the small part is I'm sure at some point they'll comp me a meal or they'll comp me an appetizer or something. So they'll provide me with a thing in exchange for a planned now little marketing promo. And that is a great way to get started because it's not going to have to be this giant blast all over social media. It's just an appetizer or a meal, but I do it anyway because I'm genuinely fond of their establishment and how they run their business. So you don't have to go high on the hog and just start asking for everything right away if it feels a little.
No. I actually, when I lived in Singapore, we were centrally located to a lot of places, and I would just go on restaurant haunts where I would say, like, in one day I would go somewhere, I'd get a sponsorship for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or breakfast and dinner, and I'd be able to do that. That was really fun. Or just excursions. So you don't have to go do the whole thing. You don't have to go. Now, in Debbie's case, because it's a cruise that she's looking for, well, she's going to naturally, you won't have to ask for individual. So it's really the cruise that you're going to be looking to get sponsored. But for everyone else, that's one thing we teach is you cannot get overwhelmed, because remember, while there's no money exchanging hands, you still have deliverables for them. You're marketing for them. So those are deliverables. And we go through everything in the program of what that looks like, what they're going to expect from you, what that looks like, how to deliver it. It's not just, there's a process. You need a little schedule. It's really, you have to stay organized as well. And one of the biggest mistakes that happens with people is you get so excited. And this is, I have to say, I learned it the hard way. You get so excited when you start getting sponsorships that you start wanting to do more and more. And then you take on too many at once. And then it becomes it's not enjoyable anymore. And so we teach you never to do that. We teach you how to actually plan it so that, I'm thinking the one I told you in Cleveland, Jane. I went to Cleveland, and I pitched a few people, and I didn't expect every one of them to say yes. And they were mostly restaurants and 2 hotels. So I got a yes from them. I spent 2 weeks there. At the end of that, I could not put a crumb in my mouth. I had eaten so much that I was literally getting myself sick, but I can't say no, right? I have to authentically try the food and authentically, see what it is. I just couldn't do it. So it's just, it was definitely, so we teach that, how to make sure that you're using a framework, the right framework, what to say, when to how to structure your sponsorships for what really attracts you, and then how to vet them specifically. We suggest starting a few months out, to start vetting your sponsors for your retreat. So, all right. Let me see. Do we have any questions?
Last call for any questions. We're actually 6 minutes early, so
Yeah.
let you out a little bit early so you can refresh the water or whatever before your 4 o'clock if you have appointments. Last call. Anything from anybody? Any questions? You're very welcome, Kathleen.
Yes. Thank you.
You're so welcome, Lisa. We absolutely love spending time with you. So don't forget, of course, the $200 extra discount is good for until 5 p.m. So 1 hour. And if you have questions, and that's the thing that's preventing you from enrolling to get the $200, as long as you book that call with me within the next hour, we'll hold that price. So we have got a dash off, or you need to think it through or move money or something. That's so normal. Just book a call with me and we'll consider that a temporary placehold.
Yeah.
And again, no obligation if it's just like, this isn't going to be a good fit.
Right. Yep. No pressure. We just know you're going to love it. Bye, Debbie. We'll see you.
All right.
we're gonna go. Thank you so much. This was fun. I hope it was fun for you. I hope you learned a lot. We are gonna send out the replay anyway, so that you'll have access to it if you want to check it out again. And because there was quite a few who signed up that were across the world, some are in Belize, some are in other places. So yes, we're gonna send you the replay. You'll have that. Any questions, please book that call or hit me up in Facebook Messenger. I'm there too. I'm happy to answer questions as well. So. All right, ladies, love and light to you, and we'll see you later. All right, take care. Bye-bye.